Now we move on. In developments from the Russia-Ukraine war, the Ukrainian military has said that it hit a Russian oil terminal in Crimea. The Ukrainian military has also targeted one of Russia's main explosives and factories. This comes as Ukraine earlier targeted power facilities in Belgorod, Russia, leaving more than 40,000 residents without power. Russia has also claimed of neutralizing around 250 drones overnight targeting Russian cities. The front lines at the border remain active as both Russia and Ukraine continue to target key energy infrastructures. Now for this discussion, we're joined by Mark Sutherland. He's a geopolitical commentator, joins us live from London. Thank you very much, Mark, for joining us again. Good to see you. Now we see that this war seems to be escalating, and if I recall correctly, Crimea is wanted by both Ukraine and Russia, but both of them seem to be active in that zone. So how will this affect the people's perspective towards Russia and both Ukraine if they're both being targeted by these countries?
Good to be with you. I mean, in that area, the Russians had a big bridge that they constructed because they could not then drop paratroops, etc., into that region unless they could then support them. They then had the logistics to support them. And as we go back in a few years ago, then Vladimir Putin is then holding elections, and people within that region have turned around and said, well, we wish to align with Russia. Now those elections have to be examined into how they were held, or whether the people had no option to do that. But on the other hand, in that area, people speak Russian. The tit for tat is continuing because the Ukrainians, as they are, have become very adept at using their drone technology. It's all about, and as even President Trump has said, others, it's all about taking out or attacking the economic infrastructure, trying to bring the Russian economy to its knees, so which the oil and energy sector then finances the war. And of course, the other discussion that's gone on, much to President Trump's frustration, where behind people's back, other countries are trading energy with Russia, and of course Russia has its ghost fleet of ships. So all of this is going on because he has constantly said, to stop this war, to bring Russian economy to its knees, you need to stop buying the materials, e.g. gas and oil, that actually fund the war chest that Putin needs to continue this from February 2022. Asuma.
And Mark, now how is this intensifying attacks from both sides? And also last week we kept seeing the drone sightings across Europe. How do you think this is impacting the development of new security measures and defense measures in Europe?
Well, it's impacting it on all sides. I mean, it can be argued that as drones come over the border, like we've seen in Poland, for instance, that they need to be immediately shot down. These are unidentified objects coming from somewhere, maybe that's Russia, wherever, but they need to then be taken out. So that's a mindset that I believe that the Europeans have got to get over in regard to looking at NATO, in regard to strengthening all that. And then other wonderful commentators have stated it's the way that Russia is trying to, by doing this in individual countries, it's testing, but it's also then deflecting the armaments, etc., that NATO would want, and Americans, Europeans would want to then push forward to the Russian front, to Ukraine. We've had a discussion about Tomahawk weapons in that regard as well. When they've got the weaponry to then get so far into Russia, this is seen as then a threat, because as the issue is the last thing we want is escalation, but this potentially incrementally, creep by creep, is then happening, because Russia is testing, is pushing, despite its huge losses. Asuma.
Right. Thank you very much, Mark, for sharing that insight. Please stay with us as we come back to you for our next discussion as well. Now, former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev, who serves as deputy chairman of the Russian Security Council, will travel to North Korea this week. Medvedev will be leading a delegation from the United Russia Party to participate in ceremonial events like that marks the 80th anniversary of North Korea's Workers' Party. The visit comes as the invitation of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of North Korea, which is in fact the party of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The Workers' Party of Korea was established in 1945 and currently acts as the ruling party under Kim Jong-un. The anniversary of its founding is to be celebrated in October 10th. Now we move on the 6th day of the U.S. government